It's like, why isn't everyone doing this?
Lindsay, how did you find Carnivore?
I think, like a lot of people, YouTube. So I generally have, if I'm on the computer doing something, I'll have a YouTube clip playing in the background. I'll kind of just listen to it. And I had um, Joe Rogan was interviewing Jordan Peterson, and I'm just listening. And he asked about his diet, and Jordan said, "I only eat meat." And I've gone, that's. And I had double took, so I rewound it, listened to it again. I only eat meat. I said, okay, well that sounds weird because I'm used to the SAD, the standard Australian diet way of eating. So it's it got my curiosity, it piqued my curiosity, and he's going on about all these wonderful benefits of eating just meat. I thought, how could this be? So I thought to myself, I'm going to try it because I'd love to have a clearer brain, and think clearer and lose a bit of weight. So just to fill you in about my journey, in 2014 I had a neck injury, and one thing led to another, stress, and had tinnitus pretty bad. And I'm trying to find cures for that or ways to treat it. And I ended up meeting a naturopath lady who did cranial sacral work. And I visited her a couple of times, and she actually really helped. But I found it weird or curious that um, my first appointment with her, she wanted to know all about my medical background. When I was born, how long was I premature? Did I have this? Did I have that? And what do you eat? And I told her that I had really bad reflux and heartburn. It was something I'd always kind of had. And I'd actually been prescribed Nexium by my doctor to treat this, right? And I told her that, and she kind of went, so like shock horror. What are you taking that for? And I said, well, it kind of helps. I don't have the problem when I do that. She said, well, you've got to get off that. It's poisonous. And, we trust the doctors, don't we? So does the doctor right or not? So so I said, well, what do I do? She said, you've got to stop eating wheat. I said, really? She said, yeah, that's what's doing it. Anyway, it's kind of a bit woo woo. I don't really know about that. We trust the doctors. So I kind of went away, keeping that in the back of my mind, but um, still carrying on with what the doctor had prescribed me. And some nights it'd be so bad, I would have to take other antacid medication to stop it. Anyway, fast forward, and I was just normal diet, drinking alcohol, just what you do in Australia, right? And so fast forward to 2022, and I'm on a camping trip. My family and there's another family we go camping with. Anyway, we're both sitting around the campfire. We both got a drink and going, we need to lose weight. Look at us. We look that unhealthy. And we said, yeah, well, so let's do a competition. Let's see how much weight we can lose in 6 months. So that's what we did. When we got back, we weighed in. I was 103 kilograms, and I'm just shy of 6 foot. So um, it's overweight for my frame by a fair bit. Um, so I was talking to my wife about this, and she said, "Why don't you stop eating bread?" And I think that, like the naturopath lady said, I think that's causing a lot of your problems. And dairy's not good for you either. I notice when you eat a lot of dairy, you cough and it's like an allergic reaction. So I said, right, that's what I'm going to do. So I did that. stopped eating bread, stopped eating dairy, but kept doing everything else. I'd cut back my drinking heaps, so I'd probably drink twice a week, a couple of beers, nothing drastic. And in the course of, I'm just trying to think of the timeline. In the course of about 6 months, I'd lost 10 kilograms, and I felt great. Um, so, and then he's asking me, I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I just stopped eating bread and cheese and all that stuff." He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." Anyway, so, and this is the thing, Dave. I'm a meat eater. I've always liked meat, and I've instinctively not liked vegetables, right? And it's kind of like I just eat them because they're good for you. So, and I'd cook a steak up, well, good for you. And so I'd cook a steak up, and then my wife would go, "Look, I'll make a salad up for you." Oh, okay, whatever. So I would have the salad, right, to keep her happy. And but all I really wanted was the meat. And this is kind of where my carnivore journey. That's what pricked my ears with Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and he spoke about his daughter. And so now I've gone down this rabbit hole. That's where I found you, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Berry, and all the usual, Sean Baker. And I'm down the rabbit hole, and I'm just, where has this been? Right, my whole life, where has this been? This is unbelievable. So I said to my wife, "I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. I want to see what happens." So I started carnivore. Then the next week, I said, "I'm going to do my blood work to see what actually happens. This is where my curiosity is." And so I went to the doctor, got a blood test, and he's looked at my blood work, and he goes, "I'd already lost the weight from doing the keto." So he'd already seen me. By the way, when I had my blood test done in 2022, before I started losing any weight, he told me he wanted to put me on a cholesterol statin. And then I said to him, so this is probably the early part of 2022. I said, "Look, I don't really want to take it. I've heard bad things about statins." I said, "Can I do it? I want to try it naturally. I want to try losing some weight, exercising." He said, "Oh, it doesn't really work. People don't stay, they don't stick to it." I said, "Well, I want to try it." He says, "Well, all right, it's your decision." So that's what I did. I started losing weight. Anyway, then when I saw him in 2023, he goes, "What have you been doing?" Because I'd lost 10 kilograms. He said, "You look amazing." I said, and he actually just about wanted to take the blood out of my arm then and test it. Well, he can't, but I got that feeling from him. He wanted to see how my cholesterol was.
And at this point, you're about 93 kilos.
Yeah, that's right. So and I don't have my cholesterol figures for the 2022 blood test, but I do have them for the 2023. And I'd come down. I remember him saying it was around 8, whatever that is, N moles they call it, and then it had come down to 7.4 in that time period. And he was happy with that. He said, "Oh, it's coming down. That's good." But this is before I found carnivore. So I didn't know that cholesterol was an important thing that you needed, right? Most people don't. It's bad. Yes. So August 2024 is when I decided to do carnivore. And that's when I got my blood test. So I wanted to see how it would affect my testosterone, because they go bang on, "Oh, your testosterone goes up." And I'm 55, so it's going to be down a bit because of my age. And so I said to my doctor specifically, "I want that tested." He said, "Oh, we don't usually test for that." I said, "Well, I'm curious about it." So he humoured me, and I got that done. And then just this year in March, I got another blood test, not through my doctor because it's under the 12-month period that Medicare will take care of it. So I've done it, paid for it myself. Just the testosterone component, because I will go and see my doctor for the cholesterol and all the other blood work later in the year. And my testosterone had gone up 100 points, like 6 months. So I'm going to the gym, so I'm working out fairly hard at the gym, but I'm doing carnivore. And when I started it, I was strict as. I was. There'd be no salad. There'd be nothing on my plate. So going out can be a challenge, as you know, and people don't get it. They think you're weird. I suppose to them we are weird. Anyway, so my wife and I have got this tradition on a Monday evening when we get home from work. It's a big day for both of us. It's the beginning of the week. We're both tired, get home late, we don't want to cook. So we'd go up to our local tavern and we'd have a meal together. And it's usually quiet on a Monday, there's not many people there. And I'd do the usual steak, whatever they had, chips and salad, and I'd have a schooner or a pint of beer, whatever I felt like. And she'd do the same and have a wine. And so when I come to carnivore, I've got, okay, I'm not having beer, I'm having soda water. I'm, I'm not having chips and salad. So I'd order the meal, but I wouldn't eat the chips and salad. And my wife, she couldn't eat it, she was full. So I'm kind of wasting this food. Man, I don't like wasting this food. So I went and asked the chef if he could swap out the chips and salad for some eggs. He goes, yeah, no worries. So now that's the usual thing when we go up there. He just knows that's my order. 3 fried eggs and a 400-gram steak, whatever they've got.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But it does cause a bit of friction with your family and friends, because then it's the whole conversation. Where are we going to eat? I said, oh well, I can't eat. Well, I don't. Not that I can't eat at an Asian restaurant. I can, but it's not preferable, you know. So I have over time compromised a little bit, and I think this is where I've come to with my carnivore journey, Dave. Is I'm now a mindful eater. I'm not just mindlessly shoveling food in, right? And just drinking whatever, you know. Um, so I will. There's an Asian restaurant that I really love. It's Thai, and they do this one particular dish that I love, um, and I have that. It's with chicken. Yes, it's in a creamy sauce. I don't have the rice because I know how it's going to make me feel. Then I'll have chicken skewers as a starter, and but that keeps everyone happy. I'm out. I'm not acting. I'm not so weird, you know. Um, and but most restaurants will have a meat dish, you know. Most will. So you can. I'm really anticipating carnivore, ketovore, and keto restaurants to start springing up with the help of what you're doing and the carnivore community. That's my hope. Um, so yeah, that's basically my story with how I got started and kind of where I am at the moment. Um, as far as the benefits go, apart from the fact I've lost the weight and I feel great, um, there were some unexpected benefits, and I know it's been talked about, but still, I'm on this. I don't believe it can do that. I don't believe it can do this. Blah 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 blah. So I've had this toenail fungus since as long as I can remember. Both toes, the right's worse than the left. It's just about gone. The right one, it's so bad. It's actually been growing out. So it's the whole toenail actually has to grow out, but it's half grown out. Like it's all just beautiful new pink toenails. And the left one, it's just about cleared up without growing out. my eyesight. So I went to the optometrist just recently. My glasses aren't working. I need them for long distance. My glasses, I think I need to go up a strength in my glasses, right? I got to the optometrist and tested my eyes, and she said, actually, you need to go down one. Your eyes have improved. So that's another benefit I wasn't expecting. My eyesight's
And those moments you kind of, you end up walking out of the optometrist kind of shaking your head like, "I can't believe this has happened."
no, no.
Mhm.
It's really it's quite extraordinary, Dave. Eh? Like, how can just eating meat do that? You know, and when you tell your friends, they go, "Oh, that's silly. You're going to have all this rotten meat in your colon," and it's like it's the opposite. I I don't go as often, and when I do, there's hardly any cleanup at all. It doesn't smell. What's not to love? It's like, why isn't everyone doing this? You know, it's
Yeah, that's it, you why isn't everyone doing this, And one of the other things they're thinking is, yeah, and we can't even get him out to go to a restaurant, and it'd be easier if he was a vegan.
right, right. It would be because they cater to vegans, don't they? So yeah, that's one change I would really like to see. Um, better um, restaurant choices for us weirdos. So
Yeah, just
yeah,
get this into hospitals, restaurants, airlines, it's
at
so
a bare
nice.
minimum, hospitals at least make it an option. And this is the thing, Dave, and we all bang on about it, and all the doctors that are purporting for this way of eating is it's actually a health crisis that the Western world is in anyway, with metabolic problems and diabetes and you name it, especially the US and probably the UK. And we're not far behind in Australia. It's like, it's simple. Don't make it, don't make it hard. Yeah.
That tends to be the best day-to-day thing, really, is, like, it's just so easy and so quick, and there's no waste. You're not throwing, like, half the food you've chopped up back into the bin, it's yeah, it's awesome.
And that's another thing, Dave. That's exactly right. Like the amount of times you're like, "Oh, we didn't eat that cabbage. Out it goes. And that lettuce has gone slimy. Out that goes. The carrots are all bendy, and you don't want to eat them, so that goes out." I don't waste anything. And people go, "Oh, but isn't it expensive?" I said, "Well, it depends how you look at it." So yeah, rib fillets. If you have a couple of them every day, it could probably add up. Which I do love, by the way. They're my go-to if I can. Um, but there's cheaper cuts, which I do. I have a roast, or I'll have a corned beef, or I'll eat eggs and bacon. I love eggs and bacon. That's what I had for dinner last night: 5 strips of bacon and half a dozen eggs. Right? I just felt like it, and I think this is another good way about this way of eating is it tells you what your body tells you what you need. I think I was not having enough fat. So hook into the bacon. That's got plenty of fat in it. Um, and I eat a lot of mince. I'll cook up half a kilogram of mince. That'll be my lunch most days. Two meat patties. And at work, they'll go, "Oh, you having meat again?" I say, "Yep, it's all I'm ever going to have. It's all you're going to see me eat."
That that seems like such an Australian thing, like almost every day, they would look at you and say, "You having meat again?"
Right, right. And they're baffled, hey. They go, "How can you keep doing that?" I said, "You should." I said, "Try doing it." Anyway, so the 30 days, as you probably gathered from our conversation, 30 days, at the end of the 30 days, because I said to my wife, "I'm only going to do it for 30 days. It's just a trial. I just don't know how I'm going to go. It probably will kill me, you know, like my friends are saying." And at the end of the 30 days, we had our tavern meal, and my wife goes, just have your normal, just go back to your normal, what you get, your chips and salad. So I did. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to be craving these chips, and I'm eating them. It's like, they're all right, but it's not like I remember them. In just a month, it's like my body was going, what are you doing? Like, you were going so well, and now you've done this, right? And I didn't realize how much of a sugar addict I actually was. Because generally, if there's a party or there's snacks around, I'll go to the savoury snacks, the salty or the pastries. That's my go-to. But it wasn't until probably the second month, because this is like 8 months now I've been doing it. I started craving sugar. And so I kept in sugar-free drinks, and I will have sugar-free protein powder. If I feel like something, I just need that sweet fix. I know it's not ideal, but it's better than the sugar. So I'm not a Dr. Chafee, just beef and salt. Actually, he doesn't have that anymore, does it? It's just water and beef. So I'm nowhere near that. But I do throw in sugar-free drinks and the sugar-free protein bars, but I aim to always keep my carbs under the 20 grams. So even though I'm not 100% carnivore in that way, I'm still very studious about keeping my carbs under that, because I was testing my ketones as part of this experiment. I thought, well, I'm going to check my ketones. Am I in ketosis? So I've got the ketone strips, and after that meal that I had with the chips and salad, I tested my ketones the next day. It threw me out of ketosis. The next day, however, I was back. Another whole day of eating carnivore, I was back. So it wasn't a really long-lasting effect for me, which I thought was good. But I'm very careful about keeping it, because I just know how good I feel when I stick to it. But
And that feeling as well that you get, you think, "Oh, I really want that," that chip is just gonna taste so good, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then you eat it, and then you go, "It tasted good, but, oh, yeah, I remember how you feel now."
yeah, and you get the stomach ache. No,
Mm.
that night you got the stomach ache. It's like, yeah, it tasted all right, but and not as good as I remember it, and now I've got a stomach ache. So yeah, it's a trade-off, I suppose, if that's what you want to do. But the mind fog. So it didn't happen straight away for me, and I kind of thought, I think they're exaggerating a bit with that. I didn't get it, until the 6th month, and then gone, I've got it. And you don't realise until you're out of it that you're actually in it. And I know some of your other guests have said the same thing. It's like, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
It's just suddenly you just kinda look around and go, "Hang on, everything's just a little bit different now. What's going on?" And your mood feels a little bit elevated.
I'm calmer. Like, I can be a fairly anxious person at times. I drive for a living, so Brisbane traffic, pretty annoying. And being calm's good when you're driving in Brisbane traffic. So, well, any peak hour city, I guess, city at peak hour. And now I'm heaps calmer. It's like, oh yeah, come in, mate. Yeah, off you go. Yeah, whatever. I'm just chill, far more chill. And my wife noticed it. She goes, "You look calmer." It's the only thing I can put it down to. Yeah, but it took a while. It took 6 months for me. It did happen.
Yeah, yeah. But it stayed with you, like, you still
Yeah,
feel that calmness and
absolutely.
mm.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you, Dave. My doctor said I had a fatty liver when he wanted to put me on the statin. Yeah. And here's the thing. Now that I know what I know, he should have been going, you've got to stop drinking, you've got to stop eating carbohydrates and sugar because that's making your liver fatty. And he didn't really make it out to be this really bad thing. It's like, you've got a fatty liver. So, and I said, well, what does that mean? He said, oh, you've got fat around your liver. I said, okay, okay. He says, what do I do about that? He said, well, stop drinking. So we'll cut your drinking down. So I did that, cut my drinking down. But it wasn't enough. I'm still eating the sad way. You, you're not going to fix the fatty liver by eating all that sugar and carbs, as we know. But now, when I go to get this test again later on this year, I'm really keen to see what my blood work will be. Pretty sure the fatty liver's gone. Um, the cholesterol, I'm not sure about. From what we've been learning about it, it could be elevated, but I'm not worried about it. It's a bit of a hereditary thing with my family too. So, yeah,
So, I just want like, just linking to things that you've said there, the fact you had the fatty liver, your gut is what's happening in your gut's affecting your whole body, and what's happening all around there in your liver, that's all affecting your whole body, right? So I wonder if the fact you didn't experience the clearing of your mind until 6 months in was partly because maybe your liver was repairing in that time.
that's exactly what I think too, Dave. I put it down to that. There was so much going on inside that this was the red light going off in my body. That my body's going, this is the first thing we got to get right. And yeah, I think you're right about that.
So have you been able to convince your wife to join you?
She's eating more meat than she used to, but she hasn't gone carnivore, no. I'd like her to, but she's definitely eating more meat and she's saying how much better she's feeling. Um,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, but I never say
Mm.
never. And all my,
So how are you eating each day? Like, you have the half a kilo of mince for lunch, like the patties for lunch. What else are you eating?
yeah, so I'm basically only eating twice a day generally. So I don't eat breakfast because I train in the morning. I don't like to train on a full stomach, which is another thing that's changed. Previous to this, I had to eat to train. I just felt I didn't have the energy. Now I've got plenty. Keep stronger in the gym. I don't get puffed like I used to. It's another benefit that I wasn't expecting. Anthony Chafee goes, oh, I train and I don't get sore. I smash my legs and next day I'm fine. I said, yeah, right, whatever. That's exactly how I am. And I tried this. I really went to failure on sets to really do my worst to destroy these muscles. Next day, they're not sore. Whereas previously, if I did a really heavy chest workout, I couldn't even touch my chest. It was that sore, let alone move it. Now there's nothing. The only thing I get is if I have a really heavy leg day, the next day my legs, they're not sore, but they feel pumped, like they feel like they're letting me know that they've been worked. But no way are they sore. It's extraordinary. And then I've taken up squash and I'm running around with 18-year-olds, you know, keeping up with them at squash. It's
And you have to exert some serious energy to play squash.
right, right. Yeah. And then I'm by no means a fixtures player or anything, but I'm still running around, with the younger guys, keeping up with them. So I
Oh,
could
that's
never have done
awesome.
that before.
Mm. Yeah, so you just eat the lunch and then you come home and you have
I come home and I'm pretty hungry. So it'll be steak and eggs, or like I had last night, bacon and eggs, whatever I'm feeling like. My go to is steak and eggs. I'll have a rib fillet and half a dozen eggs. Or I'll make up scrambled eggs. I like to do that as well. I'll cut up 4 strips of bacon, fry that up, beat 10 to 12 eggs, um, put that in, and then fold a couple of tablespoons of butter in with it. It's sensational. Oh, it tastes so
a
good.
are you using the barbecue outside?
I haven't been, no, mainly because it takes so long to heat up. So I'm lazy now, Dave. I want my meat in 5 minutes, right? So I could just turn it up inside, cook my steak, 5 minutes I'm eating. Whereas I want to get the grill up to heat, and I just don't have the patience for it. Otherwise, yeah, I do have a couple of tomahawks there I will do on the barbecue, but that'll be an afternoon. On the weekend, I'll do that when I've got more time. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
steak and
nice.
uh, bacon and eggs. If I feel like breakfast, I'll have that.
Have you had any friends say, "Okay, I wanna try this"?
Uh, yeah, yeah, and in fact, there's a couple of our friends that will meet us down at the tavern, and they've just started eating this way as well. They're getting the steak and the eggs. So um, yeah, so I hope they stick with it. And I did say to them, look, it's not easy. It took me a few weeks to adjust. Um, the adjustment period, I did find, like the first couple of weeks, I had no energy. I'm at gym. I'm going. I can hardly lift anything, but I knew that was my body switching over its energy from carbohydrates to ketones. I just kept going, and I came good. And I'm glad I did. So I've said to them, look, just be prepared for that. Don't expect, and give yourself at least 12 months with the weight. Don't think it's going to fall off you. It's taken a long time to put the weight on, so it's going to take a little while for it to go.
This is how it grows as well, right? It's just like someone sees you doing it and they go, "I wanna give that a try," and then someone sees them and it's just like it's like, the Amway of spreading a message or something, It's like
Right.
you're just spreading the message out in your network and then everyone's kinda before long, it's just gonna be I mean, before long, hopefully, what it means is there will be restaurants catering to this.
I have no doubt they'll have to. The groundswell will be so unavoidable. That'll just be a dollars and cents thing at the end of the day, won't it? We want to get these people in here.
Yeah, we're probably not going to convince the vegan restaurants to cater to us, but that's okay.
I I think I think they're on the downward slide, Dave. The more and I have friends who were vegan and they were unhealthy, and now they're starting to eat meat again. It's like, right, right,
I've heard there's a statistic about that. Like, I've heard Professor Bart Kay quote a statistic about it. Like, it's usually within 5 years, most vegans will revert to a regular diet.
yeah.
Regarding your work, you're feeling calmer, and that helps you because you are driving. But, like, have you noticed anything else? Like, one of the things that I found is I was much more like, you've got 15 tasks to do at once, and you're trying to manage, like, I'll do a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, and then, and I found it much more easier to focus on just doing one task, getting it done. Do you find your focus is improved?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good way of putting it, the way you just put it. I can tend to uh, be a bit that way, trying to juggle all the balls at once. But yeah, that's exactly right. I tend to be more focused. Absolutely. Mm,
The thing I think the focus and the calmness actually kind of work together, because in the past, what I would have been like is if I tried to focus on that one task and get it done. Because I know that, logically, I know that you can't effectively work on more than one thing at a time, right? So I'm just like, just get one thing done. But because I wasn't calm either, and I had that scattered focus, I'm like trying to do that one task, but then I'm also thinking, but nothing's working, nothing's getting done. You got to go and try and do other things as well.
right.
And so, because you're not calm, you're getting more stressed. But now I've got this feeling like, even if there's three of the other tasks, the alarm bells are ringing, like these need to be done now, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but each task is not gonna get done if I jump all over every one of them at the same time, you know? I need to finish one at a time. So I've got that calmness that allows me to just go, take a deep breath and just finish this one. And then everything is better once that one's done.
Yep, makes sense.
Let's say you've got another friend comes to you and says, okay, Lindsay, I want to try this carnivore thing that you're doing. Tell me how to get started. What would you recommend to maximize their chances of success?
Um, as you know, just you as an example is great. They see you, how well you look, um, your calmness, your just how well it's worked for me. Number one, have a look at me. Well, look at where I was. They saw me when I was 103 kilograms. And don't try and do it all at once. I think if my personality type is I can do it. I'm just going to. I've made my mind up. I'm going to do it. Some people aren't like that. They'll go, oh, I fell off the wagon. I, ate bread. So I would say take one thing out. If you're having Coca Cola, just go to diet. Just try that first. Do that for a few weeks. See how you feel. Once you've got that, then try eating two slices of bread instead of four when you eat it. I'd just say, just. But if you want the results that I've got in a fairly short period of time, 6 months, you have to pull the band-aid off. So it's up to you whether you want to just take things out one at a time. Your results are going to be slower. But if you want to just get into it and feel good quickly, just stop eating the carbs, stop eating the sugar, stop drinking. That's how I would approach it. I'm pretty brutal when it comes to stuff like that. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Band-Aid ripper offer as well, because I'm all one way or all the other. There's no in betweens for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lindsay, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any social media or any way of
No,
getting in contact?
no, I don't, Dave. I don't do the social media thing. My wife handles all that side of things.
Yeah, no worries. Um, so, Lindsay, I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story. Thank you so much for your time.
Been my pleasure, Dave.